This is Optimal Living Daily, episode 470, What Old People Know, by Barbara Babs Wagner with budgetsaresexy.com, and I'm Justin Malik, the guy that reads blog posts to you every day, including holidays, and that is with permission from the authors. And today's post comes from a guest author on Budgets Are Sexy. But really quick, I mentioned this the other day. I'm doing a short 5 or 6 question survey to get a better demographic feel of who you are, and I'm giving away a couple of books to random people who fill it out. Just come by oldpodcast.com/survey to help me out. But for now, let's hear the post as we optimize your life. What Old People Know, by Barbara Babs Wagner with budgetsaresexy.com. A great deal of what M.O.N.E.Y says is right on. Paying off debt, saving for retirement, and tracking what you spend so you can make better choices are great advice. But don't even get me started on Love Drop, his very personal, hands-on approach to charity. I'm in love with Love Drop. But Mr. Budgets Are Sexy is dead wrong about one thing. When he says, I get crazy bored reading about finances by old white men and blah styles, he makes me crazy crabby. Truth in advertising, I'm a sorta old white woman who prefers to dress in classic, blah clothes. But don't write me off just yet. We old farts know a few things you might want to know too. Invest in your health, not just your 401k. In my 20s, I ate, smoked like a chimney, partied endlessly, drank to excess, never worked out, and told myself I could always lose the weight later. Man, some of that sounds pretty good. Somewhere along the line, I learned that later wasn't going to be much fun if I was in poor health. Think about it, which sounds sexier? Rocking a hard body in your 50s with plenty of energy to enjoy your modest wealth? Or visiting a doctor every other week to deal with your stress, weight, diabetes, arthritis, and intestinal problems, and little energy to spend the millions you piled up? Have you ever listened to old people talking about their health problems? It isn't pretty. Give me the hard body any day. Seriously, if I wasn't happily married, I'd really want a hot guy more than money. Not that my husband of 22 years isn't totally hot. That's why we have air conditioning. Try to fit in just a little healthy living on your way to being a millionaire. Every choice you make is 2 choices. You just don't know it. When you choose to save, you are choosing not to spend. When you choose to spend money on one thing, you are choosing not to spend it on something else. Any choice is a good one, as long as you choose what you really want. It's a fabulous idea to save all your money for retirement in your 20s because time and compounding will make you rich. Unless you really want to experience a little world travel while you're young enough to do it with just a backpack and good hiking shoes. Being rich in memories is a terrific goal. It's also fine to spend a third of your income leasing a Beamer, unless you'd really like to have enough coin to actually date women who like guys with Beamers. Anytime some quote-unquote expert recommends a particular action, ask yourself what you won't be doing if you make that choice. Same goes for any bright ideas you come up with on your own. As long as you know all of the choices you're making, you'll do fine. Do it now. If you wait till you have enough money to leave home, get married, buy a house, make babies, invest, or anything else, you won't do anything. There's never enough money to do things perfectly, but there's always enough money to make a start. I get it, the lousy economy is making things extraordinarily difficult for 20-somethings, but putting your life on hold and living with your parents in your 20s is a special kind of... When I was in my 20s, oh God, I'm about to give you the classic old person, back in my day speech, unemployment was at 8%, inflation was in double digits, and wages were even worse if you were a woman. I lived in a crummy apartment in a scary part of town, wore clothes from the thrift store, and ate a lot of ramen. Man, it was fun. I was living my own life, humble as it was. My first attempt at investing was $50 savings bonds because my employer would deduct $25 from my paycheck to buy them, and I couldn't easily spend them. My friends with enough money to invest in mutual funds thought I was pathetic, but it got me started on achieving financial freedom. And it turns out the bonds have paid 6% every year for over 20 years and are the best investment in my portfolio. Ha! If you're lucky enough to find true love, don't wait till you can afford a wedding. Get married and eat ramen together. Money doesn't buy happiness, but love absolutely does. If you and your soulmate love children, have them when you're young, and you'll be young enough to enjoy your grandchildren too. Whatever your dreams, get going now. Don't try to figure everything out before you take action. You will never hear an old person say, I just wish I'd waited longer to find my bliss. You just listened to the post titled What Old People Know by Barbara Babs Wagner with budgetsaresexy.com. She's really a character. And one more time, I'm doing a demographic survey to understand who's listening to this show a lot better. It's a pre-made survey by my podcast hosting provider with very common questions, only 5 or 6 questions, so it's really short. Anyone who enters can do so anonymously, which is great. That's just as helpful. But I'm going to be giving away a couple of books to random people who fill it out. So if you want to win those, I need a way to contact you so you can include your email address in it. Your data won't be used for anything else and your email won't be shared or anything crazy like that. It's just for me to contact winners. And the answers to the survey help me figure out who's listening to the show and frankly how many people are actually engaged listeners of this show. So please take the 30 seconds to fill it out, be entered to win books, and bring a smile to my face. Just come by oldpodcast.com/survey. Thank you for listening through all the way to the end and have a great Saturday. I'll be back tomorrow, so I'll see you there where your optimal life awaits.
Hey, this is Dan from the Optimal Finance Daily podcast, which is a lot like this show, except more focused on personal finance. Justin handpicks the best posts he can find from blogs and authors like Ramit Sethi, Mr. Money Mustache, and more, and I read them to you 5 days a week. So if you enjoy this podcast, come on over and subscribe to Optimal Finance Daily too. And together, we'll optimize your financial life.
You've been listening to Optimal Living Daily. Be sure to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date on each new episode and head to oldpodcast.com. That's OLDpodcast.com for a free gift as well as more actionable tips and resources to help you maximize your potential. Thanks for joining us, and remember, your optimal life awaits.